I think I'd start off by saying in a sense, open science, open social science is what I think at least implicitly we're doing by default, or as the assumed default in science, so that we share knowledge. I mean, not maybe immediately, but we ultimately share knowledge. We build on other people's, work. We collaborate, and that we're also in theory at least. Of course, there's much of the mess of the world and egos and so on. But in theory, we're in a pursuit of some kind of truth or understanding about the world that's a shared enterprise and one in which you know there aren't winners or losers. We're going forward together in some sense. So I think that's implicit. The point about I'd say about open science, strictly, that conception of science goes back hundreds of years, whatever, thousands of years. Right now, the point about open science right now is it's about making some of that explicit. It's saying in the modern digital age, in which unfortunately lots of people have asserted lots of exclusive rights in papers and in the knowledge that the formalized knowledge the scientific community has created. This is about being really explicit about that. Saying, we're now going to be really, we're going to have licenses, you should license your stuff. So appealing someone's interest, I'd say, look, informally, you probably share your stuff already, but to be able to make this scale, to be able to allow the tools and technology to be built to help you be a scientist, wouldn't it be great if you could find relevant papers quicker? I mean, most people in science experience, even with the improvements we see of something like Google Scholar or whatever, it's still pretty, still pretty rudimentary the ways that we find what other people are working on or discover what they're doing or recent papers or match them. Or I remember, whenever someone asks you to dig up some paper, you mention them, it always takes me, half an hour sometimes to find it. That could be so much better. And one of the reasons it's not better is because getting access to the content, getting access to the data, which you need to build, the tools to build something like Google Scholar, is really hard. So I'd say first, your life wants to be made easier. In a world of information glut that we now live in, making that easier requires, automated digital technology. And opening up material is essential to that. So A, making life easier. Number two, part of what you're doing as a scholar is probably a commitment to sharing knowledge. You're going to ultimately publicate, you're going to write publication. You want other people to read. Making your material open is, just going exactly along with the grain of that. The thing I would then say is, why aren't we doing that by default? Well, not because you don't want to, but because of currently the restrictions of the publishing setup, and I think on data, the slight challenges of publishing data openly and easily. Well, I think the simplest answer there is just kind of value for money. I mean, in essence, we fund public research in whatever discipline, from economics to genomics. We fund it in order, to advance human understanding, and also for that material, not just so we know more, but also so technologies can be developed, better treatments for everything from cancer, to regulation of the economy. And the fact is, when we don't have open data and we don't have open information, we're basically kind of cutting off our leg. We are significantly harming ourselves in the efficiency by which researchers go about their business. So we're wasting money in the simplest sense. It's harder for researchers to find the work other people have done. There's more duplication. They can't build on it quickly. They can't reuse it as quickly. The thing I also like, the phrase I like is the best thing to do with someone's data will probably be thought of by someone else. Just as I'll think of what the best thing to do with your data. Just that's a natural thing in the world. There are, the matching problem. I may create data, I'm not the best person to use it. But at the moment, we live in a world where almost always those two people have to be the same because it's so difficult to share material. So the simple pitch to anybody, be a funder, a policymaker, whatever, is we've got, in this time, we've got cuts and so on. We want to make our science as efficient and as advanced as quickly as possible. And open data and open information is the way to do that. At the moment, we're seriously we're disabling ourselves, as it were, compared to what the potential we have. Right, well, I guess with a magic wand, I'd say every both past and future scientific and social science, research publication would be digital, online, for for everyone to access. And that, by the way, involves a lot of digitization. That's one of the costs that people do have to recoup, is the digitization cost. Going back, so one of the reasons it's most difficult. But that would be, I think, magic wand. That would be it. I mean, second, I guess it would be some what I call a data hub or data management. So be somewhere where I could just explore seamlessly. Going to go give me GDP for US quarterly from 54 to 68 or whatever. Give me this other thing and just now show me the graph or whatever. Now run the regression. I think that now that's actually just really hard. It's much harder than it seems conceptually when you say it. But we're getting there, and things like CCAN are going to help make that a reality, I hope. But I think the biggest one, the magic one, would just be to have all that material that so far man's accumulated, and humankind, I should say, humankind's accumulated, scientific knowledge is largely encapsulated now in publications, you print, and have all of that digital, all of that available. And also because the things you could build with it, you could all interlink it all. You could allow people to, I say, show me my friend's footnote, show me my friend's interlinking. You actually have a project called Annotator about it. There's why is the web not writable on? Why can't I write on it? Why can't I not annotate it? Maybe, obviously I can't write on it so everyone can see it, but so my friends can show me, Rufus's annotation to this. Show me Rufus's linkages between this paper. Show me the paper that Rufus recommends when you read this, or maybe not Rufus, whoever. So I think those things would happen very quickly once we had open access to all that material.
Okay, is there anything else that we haven't covered that you want to say to these funders, strategists and policymakers out there?
Well, remember what open means. Open equals the open definition, freedom to use, reuse and redistribute. That's all you take from this. That's what you mean by open, and that's what the scientific community in some sense is implicitly about. Let's make it explicitly happen.